students, in this video I'm going to go through the answer key for Chapter 7A, Review Number 1. Again, that's Review Number 1. Please make sure you've tried all the questions on your own before watching this video, and then you can correct your work as you watch the video. At the end, if you have any questions, please let me know. So this is question 1. It asks us to find the area of this shape. So first we need to figure out what shape this is. It has two sets of parallel sides. It is a parallelogram. So we are going to use the area formula for a parallelogram. That says area equals base times height. So let's start by identifying our base and height. A right angle is always right because it shows the base and height. The two sides forming the right angle, 11 and 13, are our base and height. So area equals base, 11, times height, 13. Let's go ahead and multiply those together. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Put a 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And add them up. We get 143. So the area of this figure is 143 inches squared. Do not forget to label with your units. Remember, for area, it's always our units, in this case inches, squared. All right, question 2. Again, we're asked to find the area. The first step is identifying what shape this is. This is a three-sided figure, so it's a triangle. We need to remember the area formula for a triangle. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Remember, it's like taking half of a parallelogram. Base times height, cutting it in half, dividing it by 2. Let's identify our base and height. A right angle is always right because it shows the base and height. So the two sides forming the right angle, 8 centimeters and 8 centimeters, are the base and the height. So area equals base 8 times height 8 divided by 2. Let's multiply that 8 by 8 first. 8 times 8 is 64. 64 divided by 2 is 32. So our area of this triangle is 32 centimeters squared. Remember, it's area. We need to label it with our units, in this case, centimeters squared. Question 3. Again, we're finding the area. In this time, we have a kite. Now, a kite does not have a specific formula. A kite, the way we're going to find the area of a kite, is by decomposing it, splitting it up into two separate triangles. So if I imagine drawing a line, well, going along this line here and like cutting through that line, I create a triangle on the left like this one, where we have 7 yards there. 8 yards and 8 yards together make 16 yards. And then I have the other side, the right side. This one we have 12 yards, and again, 8 yards plus 8 yards would make this whole side 16 yards. So all I did was split this into two separate triangles, the left triangle, the right triangle, number 1, number 2. So we're going to go ahead and find the area of both. Let's remember the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So let's start with the area of triangle number 1. What are its base and height? A right angle is always right because it shows the base and height. The sides forming the right angle, 16 yards and 7 yards, are the base and height. So we're going to do base 16 times height 7 divided by 2. All right, what is 16 times 7? Well, 6 times 7 is 42. 1 times 7 is 7, plus 4 is 11. Get 112. 112 divided by 2, that is going to be 56. So the area of triangle number 1 is 56 yards squared. But remember, that's just the first triangle. We also have to find the area of the second triangle. Again, it's base times height divided by 2. A right angle is always right because it shows the base and height. The sides forming the right angle, 16 yards and 12 yards, are the base and the height. So we're going to do base 16 times height 12 divided by 2. All right, let's start with 16 times 12. What is that? Well, 6 times 12, or 6 times 2, sorry, is 12. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Going to move down, write our 0. 6 times 1 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1, and add them up. 192. So we have 192 divided by 2. That's going to be 96 yards squared. So we have the area of this one, 56 yards squared. We have the area of this one, 96 yards squared. If we want the area of the entire kite, we need to add those two values together. 6 plus 6 is 12. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 5 is 15. So the total area of our kite is 152 yards squared. Again, don't forget to label that in our units, yards squared. Question 4 again asks us to find the area. So first we need to identify this shape. This shape is a trapezoid because it just has one set of parallel sides. The top and bottom are parallel, the left and right sides are not. So what's the formula for area of a trapezoid? The area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2, because it has two bases, times the height divided by 2. So let's go ahead and identify our bases and our height. Our bases are always the opposite parallel sides. The left and right are not parallel, but the top and bottom are. So the top and bottom have to be base 1 and base 2. The height is always the line that goes straight between our bases. So the line that goes straight between our bases here is 12 inches. We also could notice that a right angle is always right because it shows the base and height. One of our bases, the other base is opposite of it, and our height. So let's go ahead and use those in our formula. Base 1 plus base 2, 12 plus 13, times the height, 12, all divided by 2. So let's start by adding 12 and 13. 12 plus 13 is 25. So now we have 25 times 12 divided by 2. Let's go ahead and multiply 25 by 12. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Going to move down and put our placeholder. 5 times 1 is 5, and 2 times 1 is 2. Go ahead and add those together, and we get 300. 25 times 12 is 300. Finally, 300 divided by 2, that gives us 150. So the area of this trapezoid is 150 inches squared. Again, do not forget to label it with our units, in this case inches squared. Okay, question 5 says find the area of the composite figure. It's called a composite figure because it's composed of multiple different figures. So we can actually see them pretty easily because they draw in this line for us. We see that we have a square and we have a triangle. So let's find the area of each. So first, let's think about the square. A square is just a special type of rectangle, so its area can be found by multiplying the length and the width. The thing is, in a square, the length and width are the exact same. So what are the length and width? What are the side lengths of this square? Each side of the square is 5. So we're multiplying length and width the same in a square, 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So the area of the square piece is 25 centimeters squared. Now we have to find the area of a triangle. Remember, the area of triangle is base times height divided by 2. Well, what are the base and height of this triangle? A right angle is always right because it shows the base and height. So I see the base. The height is not labeled, but remember, in a square, all the side lengths are the same. So because this is 5 and this is 5, this one is 5 as well. So we know our base and height are 5 centimeters and 8 centimeters. So area equals base times height, 8 times 5 divided by 2. 8 times 5 is 40, and 40 divided by 2 is 20. So the area of the triangle piece is 20 centimeters squared. So if I want to find the area of the entire composite figure, I need to add those two pieces, those two areas together, 25 plus 20 to get 45. The area of the entire composite figure is 45 centimeters squared. Again, do not forget to label it with our centimeters squared. Question number 6. This one actually asks us to find the base. So instead of finding the area, we're given the area and we're going to find the base right here. We're going to find how long that side is. But because we're given the area, let's think about the area formula for a triangle, and we're going to work backwards. So the area of a triangle is its base times its height divided by 2. Let's go ahead and replace some of these variables with their values. For example, area, I know that that's 1.5. I do not know the base, but I do know that the height is 3 inches. So here's my area formula. I'm saying that the area of this triangle, 1.5, should be equal to its unknown base times its height of 3 divided by 2. Let's go ahead and solve this equation for b. Let's find what b equals, what the base is. So first, how do I undo divided by 2? I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to multiply by 2. Times 2 divided by 2 undo each other, leaving b times 3 left over. Again, we haven't done anything with this 3. It's still there. All we got rid of was the divided by 2 part. If I multiply this side by 2, I'll need to do the same on the other. 2 times 1.5 is 3. I'm not quite done yet, but I am getting closer. How do I undo times 3? I do the opposite. I divide by 3. Times 3 divided by 3 undo each other, leaving only b left over. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 3 divided by 3, and I get 1. 1 equals b, or b, my base, equals 1 inch. Base is 1 inch. Notice that I did label it with units, but because this is the base, it's a measurement, not the area. It is not inches squared, just inches. And question 7. This one does not have a picture, but it says that the area of a parallelogram-shaped carpet, so the area of a parallelogram, is 156 square feet. The carpet has a base of 12 feet. What is the height of the carpet? That's what we're trying to find. So I'm going to draw a picture. I think that's going to help us draw a picture. Here's my parallelogram-shaped carpet. We know the area is 156 square feet. We know the base is 12 feet. We do not know the height. That's what we're trying to find. So let's go ahead and use our area formula to work backwards and find the height. The area of a parallelogram is its base times its height. So let's replace some of these variables with their values. For example, I know that A area is 156. I don't know what the base is. Or sorry, I do know what the base is. The base is 12. I don't know what the height is. So I'm saying my area of 156 feet, I should be able to get that. It should be equal to our base of 12 times our unknown height. Now we can solve this equation for h, find what the height is. So 12 and h are being multiplied together. How do we undo multiplication? We use division. Times 12 divided by 12 undo each other, leaving only h left over. And now we need to figure out what 156 divided by 12 is. 12 does not fit into 1, but it fits into 15 once. 1 times 12 is 12. And then we subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring down the 6 and ask ourselves how many times 12 fits into 36. That would be 3 times. 3 times 12 is 36. Subtract, and we are all done. 12 fits into 156 13 times. So 13 equals h, or h, our height, equals 13 feet. We're labeling it with units, but because it is the height, it's just a dimension, not the area. It is just feet, not feet squared. So remember, this review looks identical to your test. So if there's anything on here you don't fully understand, be sure to ask before you take your test.